Hi everyone. This video aims to supplement what I've taught in class. So if you have attended any of my classes, you've probably seen this data set before, breaking down the number of people working in various sectors by economic sectors and gender. So this topic is about VLOOKUP and the surrounding subtopics such as array formulas. So I'm using this video to tie some ends surrounding the various titles that you have attended before. So if you actually probably attended one title, you've probably seen one of these things, and you might probably hear or not hear me talking about VLOOKUP with the array formulas feature. So here it goes. I'm going to take one country. I'm going to copy paste India and put it over here. So obviously I am going to VLOOKUP India and get the 119k where my cursor is. So here it goes. Alright, coming to the cell below here, plugging in VLOOKUP. Looking through the IntelliSense list that I have, I'm going to double click on VLOOKUP, following what is being bold up here on the syntax. So lookup value would be India, of course, comma, table array would be the entire table that I'm talking about, which I'm not going to select the title. I'm just going to select it this way, covering this region. Now I actually intend to obtain the grand total or Jumlah Keseluruhan of India, which is 119, right? So the quadrant or the column where India is going to get assigned column number 1, and I got to know what's the column number for Jumlah Keseluruhan from Warga Negara. So as you know in class, right, you actually count this from 1 all the way to 16, right? 16, yeah, column number 16 from number 1. So I'm going to apply column number 16, which is the target column over here, column next number 16. I got to be very accurate about the 16. I can't do 17 or 18 because it's going to yield different results, as we have known, comma. In this particular case, there's nothing to approximate, so false represents exact match, as we know. So I'm going to click on false here. We're looking India for India, double click, and there it is, done already. I'm going to use autocorrect to close the bracket for me by pressing enter, and there it is over here. I'm going to put comma style to this. So this is done, right? As usual, no big deal if you really know VLOOKUP very well. What I'm going to do is like this. I'm going to, of course, zoom in a little bit. What if I select a bunch of countries, right? Copy and paste it over here, and I'm talking about array formulas. I'm going to shift over to this particular worksheet here. A little bit of history. There has been a change in platform to how we plug in array formulas. Now, what are array formulas, right? When we deal with Excel, right, traditionally we are talking about dealing with cell for cell, and if we want a particular function or formula to manipulate a bunch of cells versus one cell, we use CTRL SHIFT ENTER to invoke the curly brackets so that it becomes array formulas. But due to the platform change in September 2018, so those Excel versions which are released after this date, we no longer have to press CTRL SHIFT ENTER to invoke the curly brackets. In fact, the curly brackets doesn't exist anymore after this date. So what we do is just enter in a normal fashion, and the spillover effect, yes, there's a so-called spillover effect, takes over from there. Yep. Now coming to here, alright. Now what if I want to VLOOKUP the Jumlah Keseluruhan of all these countries, right? So what do? I can do it one by one actually, traditionally, but I'm going to show you how array formulas work. So clicking on this, right, plugging in the first cell, which is for Bangladesh. So equal sign, we look up as usual, zooming in, lookup value naturally, comma, table array. So I'm going to actually zoom out and select the table up there, same range as I did earlier, right? And that will be comma. The next thing is column next number is going to be the same column in next number, which is 16 now. Alright, and comma, nothing to approximate, we're looking for an exact value Bangladesh, so it's going to be false, correct? And that's it. So that's the normal way of doing things. I'm going to press enter, right? And I get this value, no big deal, right? Correct? So let me test check. Yep, correct. I'm going to put a comma style here. Okay, let me move in right now. Now what if I want to deal with this bunch of countries over here? I'm going to double click and edit the formula. Double click on C29, selecting the whole bunch instead of just one particular cell, which is Bangladesh earlier, right? And enter. And I get this whole spillover effect because I'm using Excel 365. You see that? I'm going to zoom out, guys, and I am just going to apply the whole to the whole bunch, the comma style. Okay, so what's happening here is like this, right? I'm going to press Ctrl grave accent to expose my function. Look at that, the spillover effect, right? There are values in this region, but there's no formula actually, you know. If I close this back and if I take a look at my formula bar, right, this is the function which I plug in the first cell, right? I'm going to move on to Myanmar right here where my cursor is, right? Now just take a look at what I have here in the formula bar. The formula looks grayed out, kind of grayed out, right? Versus the first formula, which is normal looking. So this spillover effect is actually quite noticeable in the formula bar, where it's kind of like have that kind of like ghost, not there kind of formula, but it's kind of there, not there, but the results are there. And if I press Ctrl grave accent to expose the formulas, right, I don't see the formulas there physically. It is just spilled over to the rest of the countries in this array. Alright, so that. Alright, and what if I have an older version of Excel, right, released somewhere before September 2018? So what I'm going to do, right, we're going to actually do it the normal way, you know. So let's go for it. So clicking on this, right, and what I'm going to do is like this. I am going to press Ctrl Shift Enter, and the whole range right now is, we're going back to old school actually. The whole entire range now has actually been copied over, because the first range of Bangladesh to Vietnam was already pre-selected, so I get that. But if you don't have that, right, you got to actually select the whole entire range and then go to your formula to plug in this formula and Ctrl Shift Enter to invoke this effect. So if you actually look at this carefully, the Ctrl Shift Enter invokes that curly brackets just like in the old days. Okay, copying over from Bangladesh all to the way to Vietnam. So this is the old way of doing things, but we still get the results actually, right? But behavioral wise, right, you might find the behavior between 365 and the old version slightly different because the formula isn't physically there. Okay, so hope this video helps to clear up things and to tie back things from VLOOKUP to the spillover effect and to the array formulas. That's it. Thank you for watching.